I have talked in depth about Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. I've talked in depth about the Chiefs' front seven versus Saquon Barkley. We've talked about the battle in the trenches, both the offensive line and defensive line for each of these teams. But guys, that does not give us the discussion about what might be one of the sneakiest advantage that the Kansas City Chiefs have in the Super Bowl versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Though I have to admit, when I started looking more into this, it's not the decided advantage by percentage that you would think. Certainly, it is a decided advantage by experience. Certainly, it is a decided advantage by character. Certainly, it is a decided advantage by all of those nuanced things that can happen during a football game. But I have to hand it to Nick Sirianni. He has been a winner since he has been a head coach. In an article titled 5 Factors that the Chiefs that will determine Super Bowl 59, Jalen Hurts ceiling, Eagles versus Chiefs in the trenches from NFL.com by Jeffrey Chadia, we get the following. The number 5 item here: can Nick Sirianni keep up with Andy Reid? Reid is moving into position to make a solid case for the best coach ever, as he's trying to become the first man in NFL history to win 3 straight Super Bowls and the second to win 4 in 6 seasons, along with Pittsburgh's Chuck Noll. Reid already has 301 victories, so it's not hard to see him surpassing Don Shula's record of 347 all time. That would be quite a few seasons at 17 games, because I think this is only regular season. Perhaps I'm wrong there. We'll see in a moment. But at regular season, 17 games a year, you're looking at 3 more seasons as Andy Reid. I hope Andy Reid coaches that long. Shula's record of 347 all-time wins in another 4 or 5 years. There's very little Reid hasn't done at this stage of his career. He's also at his best when his team reaches this game. The last time the Chiefs and Eagles met in the Super Bowl, Reid rallied Kansas City in the second half for the victory. 2 of the most notable moments in that contest involved Reid calling 2 plays that led to easy passing touchdowns near the goal line after some pre-snap motion confused Philadelphia's defensive backs. Those are the types of plays that Andy Reid keeps in his back pocket. And so the whole deal about Andy Reid keeping plays in his back pocket isn't about pulling out some play that no one has ever seen before. It's not about inventing formations that no one ever imagined were possible. No, what it's about is taking advantage of numbers and taking advantage of the moment in pre-snap where a defensive back passes off a wide receiver to the safety, where a cornerback passes off his wide receiver to the nickel back. Whatever that moment is, that is where Kansas City tries to get the advantage. That is the stuff that Andy Reid keeps in his back pocket. 2 of the most notable moments in that contest involved Reid calling 2 plays that led to easy passing touchdowns near the goal line after some pre-snap motion confused Philadelphia's defensive backs. This is the kind of devastating stuff Reid comes up with in these situations, and it's evidence as to why he's 33-7 in his career when given an extra week to prepare for a game. This is the importance of preparation for Andy Reid. Sirianni has a long way to go to match those numbers, but he's impressed in his own right this season. The Eagles imploded in the second half of last season, to the extent that there were rumblings about whether Sirianni would keep his job despite leading Philadelphia to the Super Bowl a year earlier. That was a wild point and time in the season, but it's absolutely true. There were rumblings all through the offseason that Nick Sirianni was going to be on the hot seat this year. What he's shown this season is the power to adapt and inspire, as he brought in veteran coaches like Fangio and offensive coordinator Kellen Moore to return this squad to a championship caliber level. Two big questions for Sirianni, and not just in a game like this, is how he handles his emotions in big moments. He's well aware of the history involved in this contest, as Reid is the most prominent coach in Eagles history, and also the man who didn't retain Sirianni as an assistant when Reid arrived in Kansas City in 2013. There's no bad blood between the two, but Sirianni certainly delighted in a regular season win over the Chiefs last season as he taunted fans on his way off the field. We all remember that moment. Absolute class from Nick Sirianni. He's also even exchanged words with his own team's fans this season. Doesn't get much more high class than telling your own fans to shove it. Look, you can't argue with the work he's done. Sirianni has won nearly 71% of his games in his 4-year tenure as head coach and won 2 conference championships. However, you don't beat Reid with bravado, and you do it with preparation and execution. And Sirianni's team didn't measure up in those categories the last time a championship was on the line. This is what we're talking about in this game. It's not just about the wins and losses. It's not just about the character moments. It's about having the control to hang on to those things you know about the other team until you have to use them and or the best scenario to use them. I cannot put into words the discipline that Andy Reid has, maybe not with cheeseburgers, maybe not at Denny's, but when he's taking into account a game plan. He always has the right play for the biggest moments, and that's because he does not spend those plays willy-nilly. Here is Andy Reid's career, 420 games. He has won 273 of them and lost 146. That is a 651 coaching average. 651. Now, Nick Sirianni's is 706. Decidedly better, 55 points better, but he has just 68 games total. 4 years of coaching for Nick Sirianni versus 26 for Andy Reid. You look up here, Andy Reid goes all the way back to 1999. Andy Reid was coaching as a head coach in the NFL before Fight Club was a movie. Andy Reid was coaching as a head coach in the NFL before The Matrix was a movie. Those came out the summer of 99, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're going to be a head coach before the summer of the season that you're coaching, right? So Andy Reid goes back a very long time as a head coach. And you don't win as many games as Andy Reid has won. You don't win 273 games on accident. Playoffs here, 28 and 16. 28 and 16 in 44 appearances with the Chiefs. His 12 years with the Chiefs, 18 and 7. I keep doing that wrong. A 720 winning percent in the postseason with the Kansas City Chiefs. I never thought I would see the day that this was the case. So, is it possible that Andy Reid is actually the biggest secret weapon in the game against the Eagles, his other team? the other team for whom he is the all-time winningest coach? Is it possible that Andy Reid takes them down in the Super Bowl twice in 3 seasons in what would just be the sweetest type of revenge for Andy Reid? I think so. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.